So, hello and good evening to the second round of the 6th season here at the Apex Online Racing Crossplay Championships on the consoles. And after an interesting race last week in Spain, we are now... We did a jump over the big lake or something like this. And we are now in America and near the the capital of Texas, near Austin, here at the Circuit of the Americas, one of the really technical tracks here at Assetto Corsa Competizione, and we are looking forward for the next try for 27 drivers to provide the next, or to not let the next victory for the two angriest sim racers happen. So we saw a lot of victories during the last season and also in the first race of the current season for Martin and Jared. The only race they couldn't win was the final of the last season, because in this race Konstantin take part of the race, and so we don't see a perfect season for these two drivers. Meanwhile, Coca was only a guest on this race, so I think it doesn't count, and this brings these two drivers a lot of victories in the last races. But by the way, I don't want to jinx it, but at the moment there is only one South African driver on track or at the server, and this is only Atti Klaassen, who is currently placed on P20 after the training session. So at the moment it's only one angriest sim racer here. Let's see if Jared is joining us a little bit later, or maybe exactly when the qualification starts. But normally he's already there when I join the server, and this time he isn't. Sometimes Martin is coming a little bit later and skips the training session, but it's not the normal way for Jared. So maybe he's not here today. Let's see. So this brings the other drivers in the position to attack P2 at least. Of course, I think most of them will try to get in front of Martin, but like we see, it's already 1 second between P1 and P2, and I will give a little remember me or remember you on on yesterday's race, when there was also nearly a second between P1 and P2. This ends with a big gap between these two drivers during the race. Maybe this isn't the best news for everyone else here. especially if they are trying to get in front of Martin. But at the moment, let's see, we have Toby on track, we have Paul, Martin, I think Adrien Gali, maybe? I think it's Adrien or Adrian. But it's a French driver, so I think it's not Adrian, but Adrien, but I'm not sure. And this time I'm pretty sure that it's a French driver, because he is 2 places behind Jurjans, and Jurjans is a Dutch driver, and so I have the Dutch and the French flag right next to each other. And so I'm pretty sure that this Ferrari is a French driver. And then we have Fabian Radek, Roland Jordan, one of the Hungarian drivers, Viktor Hammerlund, Oskar Frisk, the 2 Swedish drivers, Kendall Slater, Scholt Barabas, Rosidade Matic, Steven Archibald, Chris Egert Rünkjanen, René Lehnen, Christian Villaroux, Andy Winters, Milos Vukasovic, Robert Smith, Eddie Klaassen, Mohamed Hamza, Patrice Derik, Giacomo Besana, Mac Matz, interesting name, and I just forget the first name of this driver. Just wait. It's Melvin Milasten, another Swedish driver. Then we have Dorian Castelli, Zeppelin Ormond, Jeffrey van Buren, Dan Iris, and here we have Jared. So bad news for everyone who hopes for P2. I think we have the next fight between Jared and Martin for the victory. But today we have a new 3rd place driver in this season, because Overtaker isn't here till now, and he finished on the 3rd place last week. So let's see who is able to get P3 at this race. And I hope it's only one race, just wait. Oh, and is there no... Interesting, it seems like there is no sprint race in this season. And I'm pretty sure that there were always at least 1 or 2 sprint races. Let's talk about the track. It's one of the Hermann Thielke tracks, and I not hate him maybe, but I don't like his tracks on most of the tracks. It's 5.5 kilometers long, and this with 20 corners, 20 turns. And of course, like nearly all Hermann Thielke tracks, there are no names for the turns, and this makes it a little bit hard to tell you, because it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. And I think it's a little bit boring. So maybe I just saying this for a long time, that I try, or that I'm anytime at any time, I don't know, I will start to give corners without a name, names, only to make it a little bit more interesting for me. But this will brings me nothing, because no one of you will know what I mean. So, and like at the training session, we have Martin in the lead. Let's see if Jared is able to overtake his teammate. And Martin changed the car from the Mustang to the Ferrari, and we just talked about the fact that this might be a problem for him last week together with Chris Egert after the race, but I'm not sure if it really handicaps him or if it is a real handicap for him. But let's see, I think Jared isn't in his fast lap. Looks a little bit slow, but maybe I'm wrong. And he isn't on his fastest lap, or fast lap. And so we have Martin in the lead, followed by Paul. Then we have Toby and Giacomo Besana, so already 4 Ferraris on top. It looks a little bit like the race in Le Mans during the race. I think there were, at one time, I'm pretty sure that there are also 4 Ferraris on top. And then we have Victor Hammerlund and Oskar Frisk, the 2 Swedish drivers and teammates. I'm not sure what was the name. Let's see. It's the 2 in the pink, of course. 2 Swedes, or 2 Swedish guys in the pink. And Oskar now in front of his teammate in the pink. And then we have Toby in front of Paul, and Victor and Oskar in front of Giacomo, so only 3 Ferraris on top. But behind Giacomo Besana, the Italian Ferrari, we have Milos Vukasovic with the... And we have only Mustang and Ferrari in the top 10. Or let's say in the top 11. So Chris Egert on P12 with the Lamborghini, and then Dorian Castelli followed by the first and I think the only BMW today. No, it's not the only BMW. Then Adrien Galli and Robert Smith, and oh no, now we have Dan Iris between Castelli and Galli, and no front, but it sounds like an alias. He's called Robert Smith. Sorry. Was it Matrix? I think it was Matrix. No, it's Robert Smith. But it sounds like a typical CIA or something like this name. You don't want to tell you anyone what's your real name, then you say, my name is Robert Smith. Yeah, sorry. So maybe it's not his real name, but maybe it is, so we don't know. I think he knows, but I not. And Scholt Barabas, the only Nissan GTR today on P18, and then a lot of drivers. It's 11 drivers without a lap, or a counted lap, but Jared does a lap, and at this moment he is 72 thousandths of a second slower than his teammate. So maybe we get the next season when Martin and Jared are I'm searching for the right English words, are flipping P1. No, it's not flipping, but you know what I mean. So on the one race Martin is first, and in the next race Jared, or the other way. The first race Jared was the first winner, and there was a little mistake between Barabbas and I don't know who was it. It was one of the BMWs. Maybe it was Dan? Yeah, it was Dan Iris. He also jumped back in the pits. But meanwhile we have Atti Klaassen with a counted lap, Mac Mats, and here we have the next time. No. Oh, but yes, we have the Scottish driver, Stephen Archibald, on P22. And Sepp Lenormand now right behind Chris Egert-Rünkjanen on P15 in front of Castelli. Oh, and we have another car in the top 10. So Fabian, the German driver, was able to put the German car into the top 10. He's currently on P8. So, and it's 7 Ferraris, 1 Mercedes and 2 Mustangs in the top 10. So it's a really strong Ferrari grid here in this championship. So it's the Ferrari Open by Apex Online Racing. And meanwhile we have Jared and Martin together on track. Oh no, I think they separated. Or they let a little gap between themselves. And Toby's still on 3rd place. A little bit more than 3/10 of a second in front of Paul and a little bit more than half of a second behind Jared, but also only a little bit more than 6/10 of a second behind Hürjans. So after a hard and hot day, it's really hard to speak English for me. I'm pretty sure, for example, for oh, who's the first English driver? I think it's Winters. I think for Winters there's no problem to speak English. Unless he's not drunken. Maybe then it's a little bit hard for him as well. Oh no, it's Paul! Oh my goodness, I'm so stupid. Of course it's Paul. So we have... Now we have South Africa in front of Netherlands and Great Britain, and then Sweden and French and Sweden and Sweden and... Oh, I'm not sure where is Dorian or where Dorian is coming from, so let's take a look. Dorian. I'm pretty sure that it's also a French driver, but not 100%. Yeah, but it's a French driver. Ah. So we have 2 French driver, 1 German driver, 1, 2, 3 Swedish driver, 1 driver from South Africa in the lead, and 2 Dutch drivers and 1 British driver in the top 10. And we have with Milasten and Radek a McLaren and a oh, it's so ridiculous. I try to say it in German, but it always comes out in English and it sounds so stupid for me. We have a Mercedes. I don't know what it's... Oh Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes-Benz? Mercedes. It sounds pretty similar to the German word. So, and Jared is coming into the pits, and let's see. Is Martin able to... No, he's not able to get in front of his teammate. So the second time when Jared is able to win the qualification against his teammate. And let's see if he's able to stay in front of his teammate during the race. And is Toby starting from the third place? Or yeah, he is, because Paul stays behind him. So, and I think it's only Dorian, but what's this? Why he don't have the checkered flag? Interesting. Okay, and now we have the final result of the qualification. And we have Jared in the lead, besides his teammate Martin Hürjans, then Toby and Paul. So 4 Ferraris on top. And then we have Victor Hammerlund on P5, besides Gali, then Frisk behind his fellow countryman, besides Milasten, the next Swedish driver, then Castelli and Radek, Giacomo Besana and Andy Winters, Milos Vukasovic in front of Kendall Slater, Vozidar Matic, besides the quick Estonian driver Chris Egadorinkian with the Lamborghini. And then we have Big Jeff, Jeffrey Van Buren, besides one of the Hungarian drivers, Roland Jordan. Then of course the American drivers Robert Smith, besides the French driver Lenormand. Then we have Dan Iris on P21 and Mohamed Hamza on P22, Atti Klaassen P23, and besides Stephen Archibald, the Scottish driver, Mac Matz and Jolt Barabas in front of Christian Viarou and René Lehnen. And then we have Patrice Derick and I think it's also Steven. No, it's not Steven. It's... sorry. Sebastian Sandham. So, and we do a little commercial break that I can go for a little toilet break, and we hear us in 1 minute. Maybe. Yeah, I'm a little bit confused, so where's my 1 minute button? Ah, here it is. Sorry, till later. Stupid.
30 seconds. 20 seconds.
So, and I'm back, and I hope you are back too. So, and we are jumping into the leading car, and not only today, but also the leader of the championship after the first race. So we have Jared on P1, followed by Martin, and then we have Overtaker on P3, Adrian Gali on 4th place, followed by Paul and Toby. And then Bosidar Matic, Chris Egert Olympianen on P8, Patrice Derik on P9, and Fabian currently on P10, not only here in the race but also in the championship standing. And we are watching Martin coming closer to his teammate, and there was Toby, who wants to be in the TV. So hello Toby. And I need something to drink, because it's really warm. Also, it's close to 9 o'clock in Germany, but still hot. But it's okay, it's summer, so it's good that it's hot and not rainy or cold or something like this. And the good news for everyone who wants to enjoy the 24 hours on this weekend, there is, at least in Thuringia, there's no fog during the nights. So let's hope we see a 24 hours race and not again an 8.5 hour race like last year. And we are on the long straight, which could be interesting for the Ferrari guys when the Mustang is coming from behind. So let's see what the Mustangs can do today. And of course we should have an eye on Milasten and Radek, the only two not Mustang and not Ferrari in the first 19 places. So we have on P20 the first BMW with Iris, and in front of him we have only Mustang and Ferrari besides Radek and Milasten. So let's see what these two guys could, or how these two guys handle the dominance of the Mustangs and the Ferraris behind and in front of them. And here we have the two drivers in pink on P5 and 7, and behind Frisk, besides Frisk, we have Milasten. So, but now we are coming over the start-finish line, or we are at the start-finish straight, and let's see who has the best start. First one is a on the left side, so the better side for P1, 3 and so on. But no way for Toby to attack. Martin, but he stays in front of Paul. And and here's one of the, I think, and both of the oh my goodness, they are wrecking. Be careful, guys. And I think also the second driver in pink with a big problem. So, and I think we need to look at the replay after this, because there was a big accident or incident. So let's see, we have Jared in the lead, followed by Martin, then we have Toby, and Paul is fighting against Adrian Galli, the two, it's everywhere Ferraris. Yeah, and then we have Milastin, the Swedish McLaren, and Radek, the German Mercedes, on P6 and 7, followed by Dorian Castelli and Kendall Slater. Then Big Jeff, Jeffrey van Buren up to P10 at the moment. And the Hungarian the Hungarian Mustang on P11, Roland Jordan. Winters followed by Hamza, then the Italian Ferrari Giacomo Besana, followed by Sepp Lenormand, but Sepp lost the position against Bosidar Matic. And then we have Sebastian Sandham, so we have Sepp right in front of Sebastian, and Atti Klaassen. No, it's not Atti Klaassen, it's Stephen Archibald, who's coming into the pits, and here we have the next driver with a problem. The number 21, oh my god, and there is a collide between the McLaren, Lehnen, and I don't know who was it. And there was another driver who was part of this crash. I think it was Dan Iris, yeah. And it's the Lamborghini, it's Chris Egert who has the problem after the last turn. Oh, a little messy the first lap. And Huyans stays behind his teammate, and Toby, meanwhile, 2.3 seconds behind the two angriest racer, or sim racer. And then we have Paul, who tries to just wait, we have Galli against Milastin, the French-Swedish duel. Oh, and Castelli, meanwhile, in front of Radek, was able to overtake the German driver. So Galli under pressure from Milastin, but Castelli now in front of the German driver. Kendall Slater on P9 and Big Jeff 10th place. And we have Winters in front of Besana. Oh, and be careful, guys. Oh, and there was a little problem from the Italian driver. Oh, and there is there is a big problem coming from a little problem, but he is able to stay in front of Matic. We have Jordan and Sandham in front of Lenormand and Klaassen. And then we have Oscar Frisk, and he's able to win some places after the really bad start. Oh, and here comes his teammate out of the pits, lost a lot of time. And of course a lot of positions, is now on P28. And here we have Scholt Barabas, followed by Vieru. And we have Mats and Smith. Oh, and the BMW with a little damage on the front. This isn't how the Hood. Is it Hood? I'm not sure. Is it Trunk or is it Hood? But this is not how the front of a BMW should look like. But he's able to attack Viaru. But not really. And I think he will lose a lot of time on the straight because of the damage. I think it's... Oh, and maybe the damage of the Mustang is a little bit bigger. Because Mats is able to get in front of Viaru. Oh, and look at this, only a little bit more than a tenth between Martin and Jared. Oh, and Toby under pressure. But not only Toby, also Paul is under pressure from Adrien. By the way, maybe it's also Adrien Castelli, because it's also a French driver. Oh, and here we see Gali now in front of Paul. Oh, and Paul with a cut. I think this will be a warning. And I'm not sure if we can watch the replay without any problems. I think we will miss some fights if I go to the replay right now, but I'm really interested in seeing what happens in the first lap, especially to the two drivers in pink. Oh, and no, I thought there will be an attack by Adrien, but no. Radek still right behind Castelli. And Giacomo Besana less than a second behind Winters. Oh, and Klaassen is fighting against Lenormand. Less than 1/100th of a second between these two drivers. But Sepp stays in front of Atti. And Radek stays behind Castelli. And here we have the three Fefes fighting against the British car. Oh, and this was a little bit too optimistic by the McLaren driver. And is Paul able to stay on track? Yes, he is. So good news, at least for Paul. He wasn't kicked out, so only Melvin kicked out himself and is now... I think he's behind... Oh, no. It's not. Who is it? Is it Kendall Slater? Yeah, it's the blue Ferrari who's now on P8. And Laston held back on the 9th place. Right in front of Jeffrey. And meanwhile we have a gap of more than a second between Toby and Adrien, but also more than 2 seconds between Paul and Gali, or between Fiedler and Gali. But he is now right in front of Castelli, so we are jumping into, or not into, but to the Mercedes and watching the fight between the two Ferraris. And meanwhile we have 6 Ferraris on top of the race. So when we are talking about the manufacturers, it's not really spannend. Yeah, I know. Thrilling, maybe. So, but Gali again getting closer to Toby, who is meanwhile more than 6 seconds behind Hyojans. So, and now we are looking for the number 83. Just wait. 84, 81. I'm not sure who is who. Okay, we would wait. Okay, okay, now we are talking about. No! Oh, sorry. And it was the 84. What I'm talking about, what I'm saying about the 83, totally stupid. Ah, no. And here we have the 83, of course, yeah. So, and I think he was the first one who turns around, or who was turned. And maybe it was a problem between Gali and Hammerlund. No, it's the... there was a little punch. Okay, no problem. From Milastin. Oh, and there is a next touch. And it was again the McLaren. Not so good. And here we have Oscar, and he gets a hit from Besana. So at least this we know now. Oh, and what is this? Why? Okay. So nothing happens. I was a little bit confused because I read number 15. Or not number 15, but the 15th place by Fabian, but he's still on E7. So we have Jared still in the lead, followed by Martin, then Toby, right in front of Arion Gali. And then Dorian Castelli. So two French drivers on P4 and 5. And Castelli was able to get in front of Paul. Then we have Radek in front of Milaston, followed by Slater. Then Big Jeff in front of Besana and Winters. Bosidar Matic on P13, followed by Sandham. Oh, a little problem here for the Hungarian Mustang driver. But it's not the only. We have the next Hungarian Mustang on P15 and already on P16 one of the two drivers in pink, and this is Oscar. But like we saw, two punches for, I think it was Victor, from the same guy. I think maybe there will be some trouble for the Swedish driver after the race. Not real trouble, but I think the race control will tell him something. Because he caused a real big, in German we say Kuddelmuddel. So a real chaos in the first lap. And Toby again more than 1 second in front of P4. And meanwhile 3.5 seconds between Dorian and Adrien, the two French drivers on P4 and 5. So and this means we have two Dutch drivers on P2 and 3, and then we have two French drivers on 4 and 5. And then we have Great Britain followed by Germany and Sweden. And on P9 we have... Oh, I'm not sure if it's America or Great Britain again. Let's take a look. I think he's on P... Yeah, it's Great Britain. There's the second British driver on P9 and the third Dutch driver on P10. So speaking about the top 10, the most successful country are the Netherlands, or is the Netherlands? I don't know. Oh, and the Swedish driver in the McLaren. He has already a little problem with the race control, but not because of some contact to other drivers, but because of, let's say, ignoring the track limits a little bit too much, and now he's the second driver who needs to do a little extra stop right after Hamza. And here we have the fight between the two. Between the two normal leaders in this championship. Oh, and Fabian was able to get in front of Paul. No, he's again back behind Paul. Meanwhile, Frisk on P15 in front of Jordan, and we have two more, no, one more drive-through, and it's for Dan Iris. So P6, no, P8 and P26 have to come in during the next 2 laps to do a little drive-through penalty. But this doesn't stop Melvin from fighting against Radek. Meanwhile, Fabian lost a little bit time against Paul. I think there is more than a second between Melvin and Paul right now. Yes, and Sandham is fighting against Božidar Matic. And the gap between Adrian and Toby is getting bigger. Meanwhile, it's a little bit less than 2 seconds. And also Melvin and Dan have one more lap time to do their drive-throughs. But Dan is coming in to do his drive-through at the moment. And it's still a close battle between Jared and Martin. But at the moment it doesn't look like Martin is able to attack his teammate. I don't know if he wants to. But when we are speaking about the last season, we saw some really interesting fights between these two teammates. Since they don't have any challenger at the moment. So some seasons ago there was Konstantin fighting against these two. And yeah, I think we all can remember the time when Dustin was fighting for the championship against Martin and Jared. And here we have Toby coming closer to, I think it's Vukasovic. So Milos Vukasovic 1 lap behind. And now we have the pit stop from Vilaston. Oh, and Milos. And I think this was not the smartest way to let Toby pass. I think Toby lost a little bit of time. And also Milos, I think if he brakes on the straight, this would be smarter. And like we say, or like I said, Adrian now less than a second behind Toby. And after his penalty, Milaston fell back on P16. Okay, and it's again more than a second between P3 and P4, but still half of a second between the first two guys. And there is also a battle for P13 between Jordan and Lenormand. And is this Klaassen? No, it's already... No, it's... I think it's Victor. Yeah, and he's also a lap behind. Or maybe 2, I'm not sure. No, he's 1 lap behind. And here we have Toby at the end of lap 13. And still 1 second and a little bit in front of Adrian. And then we have Paul on 5th place, fighting against Radek. Kendall's later on P7 right now because of the pit stop from Dorian Castelli. Oh, and there was a little problem for Jeffrey. And I think he lost at least 1 position. Giacomo Besana now in front of Jeffrey. But still in front of... Oh no. Still in front of Oscar Frisk. And because of the 2 pit stops, Oscar now back in the top 10. And let's see how far he gets. I think he's lucky he didn't have so much damage. Meanwhile, we have pit stop time. Half of the race is over. And Adrian stays right behind Toby. Less than a second between these 2 drivers. And less than half of a second between these 2 teammates. And are they fighting? I'm not really sure. Yeah, and Kendall Slater is coming in for his pit stop, also Giacomo Besana doing his mandatory stop, and this was a little problem for Martin, but not not a big problem. Oh, and we have the next drive-through penalty, and this time it's for Christian Viaru, P22. By the way, this rhymes. Oh, and look at this close battle. Yeah, but I'm not really sure if they are playing with the other drivers or if they're really fighting each other. And I'm not sure if Martin is really faster. Maybe it looks the same way if Martin would be the leader. Okay, and why isn't Jeff telling us about the halftime of the race again? It's interesting. It's like yesterday. So what is Jeff doing? Maybe he watched the 24 hours of Le Mans and is still tired and forgets to tell us about the halftime of the race. And here we have the fight between Matic and Jordan, but Matic could get away from his fellow countryman. Oh, and Radek and Frisk in for their pit stops. And right behind Matic, no, behind Jordan, we have the two leading cars. And then we have Toby right in front of Gali and Fiedler now side by side with Vukasovic, P27. Yeah, and this time it was really smarter than the last time. Oh, and I think we have the next... No, this time we have a stop-and-go penalty for Christian Viaru, P24 in the 25, or in the Mustang with the number 25. No, now it's P25 with the number 25. And I think he might lose another position. Oh, and now the undercut from Adrian against Toby. Let's see if this will be a successful undercut. Toby stays outside. And Paul also stays outside the pits. Which means he's currently on P4. And then we have Jeffrey followed by Sepp Linnemore. And this Egert is coming in for his pit stop also. This brings Kendall back on P8. Of course, he should not be able to overtake Gali. And this is what I'm talking about. So Gali is in front of Slater. Oh, but really close. And this means that this was a good second stint so long for Kendall. Because I'm pretty sure when he's coming in for his pit stop, he was behind Castelli, behind Radek and so on. And now he was, of course, behind Gali. But he was far away from Gali. Maybe he... Yeah, it's only an hour race, so I think no one changed tires. Oh, and we have the next drive-through penalty, and this time it's for P11 for our Italian driver, for Giacomo Besana. And Toby's still on P3. And Martin already right behind his teammate. Ja, und ich bin gespannt, wie gesagt, wie sich der Undercut auswirkt. Seb Lenormand kommt an die Box, so Seb Lenormand is coming in for his mandatory pit stop. And this will bring Gali back on P6, and I think Kendall lost a lot of time against Adrien, but he's able to stay in front of Lenormand. But also Dorian stays in front of the third French driver, behind or after Gali and Castelli. And then we have Radek on P9. And Besana is able to get in front of Lenormand, but he will lost this position when he's coming in for his penalty. And this means that Oscar is fighting for the 10th place for P10. And we have Steven in front of Sebastian. And Lenormand lost a lot of positions. So here we have the two leading cars. And now he's right between Matic and Jordan, so the French drivers between the two Hungarian drivers. He's 16 at the moment. But really interesting that they are coming in the pits so late. But okay, there will be no mandatory tire change, or there would be no mandatory tire change. This means you only have to put in some drips of fuel. So, and Giacomo coming in for his penalty. And we are waiting for the mandatory pit stop from our 5 leading cars. And meanwhile, we can take a look for the fight between Archibald and Winters. Oh, just wait, here it is. Oh. But Winters could get away from the Scottish driver. So this means there is no fight at the moment on this track. Also, Jared was able to widen the gap. I don't know if this is correct to widen the gap. I don't know. Meanwhile, it's more than a second between Jared and Martin. And Toby's still on third place, but let's see. He's fighting against Gali. It's a fight on different parts of the track. But also really interesting. And we are waiting for the pit stop of the Dutch driver. And then let's see where he is coming out of the pits. On which place. And maybe it was because of a lapped driver that Martin lost a little time against Jared. Oh, and Dorian behind Kendall. Oh, and I'm not sure what is the problem from Kendall here. Wins a lot of positions during the pit stop, but now it seems like he has some problems to get the same lap times like the cars besides him or next to him. Meanwhile, it's more than, no, it's not more, but nearly 8 seconds between Kendall and Adrian, and also Dorian is getting not only closer, but he's getting in front of Slater. And I don't know why, because I'm pretty sure that it's not the fact that Kendall doesn't change tires. I'm pretty sure that no one changes tires. Or changed tires. And meanwhile we have Kendall and Dorian. Oh, let's see. Is Kendall in front of... Jeff? Yeah, he is, but really close. And so we have Jeffrey now on P7, which means he could win some positions again. Oh no, of course he's P8 because he's behind Kendall, but maybe he's able to fight for P7 against Kendall. After his drive-through penalty, Giacomo fell back and is now on P17, right behind Jordan. And there was another driver who... Ah no, I think it was Vierou, yeah, who did his stop-and-go penalty. So still 15 minutes to go and still 4 drivers who have to do their mandatory stop. And we are still waiting for the pit stops. And let's see the fight between Jordan, Besana and Rünkjanen. Oh, and a little dive bomb by the Italian Ferrari, and also Chris Egard is saying thank you. But what should he do? It wasn't his fault. And now he is on the defensive line against the Mustang. But is able to stay in front of Jordan. But I'm not really sure if his car is strong enough against the Mustang and the Ferrari. Oh, and Radek right behind Jeffrey. And this is interesting. Jeffrey lose time against Kendall. Otherwise, the two drivers in front of Kendall, Gali and Castelli, who are able to get away from Kendall. And meanwhile, it's more than 22 seconds between Martin and Toby. And I'm not sure if this is enough against Gali. Let's see, it's 11 seconds and 11 and a half seconds and 47 seconds. This means it's less than a minute between Gali and Toby, and I'm not sure if this is enough. And like we see here, the German driver is in front of the Dutch one. So Fabian now on P8 and Jeffrey fell back on P9. I don't know how long the pit stop is here without tire change, or without changing the tires, let's say it like this. And I'm really not sure if this is enough. Okay, Gali is losing time against Paul. And Paul is losing time against Toby, so it's now more than 12 seconds and more than 48 seconds, which means meanwhile it's more than a minute between Toby and Adrien. So let's see if it's enough for Toby to stay on P3 after he had bad luck in the last few laps last week, and I think he was really, let's say, pissed after this. Because I'm pretty sure he was on P3 a few laps before the end of the race last week and got kicked out. Or am I wrong? No, I'm not wrong. I'm pretty sure. And let's hope that he had a better ending this time. 12.8 seconds between Toby and Paul. And let's see for Adrian, it's... Ah, damn. Okay, we are waiting for the next sector switch. So let's see. All is coming over the long straight. Okay, 45. And here we have, let's see, 13. Oh. Oh, Gali is getting closer to Paul and also to Toby again. It's again a little bit more than 58 seconds. And I don't know. Maybe it's enough, maybe not. Oh, sorry, and we missed the fight between Fabian and Kendall, but Fabian is the next driver who gets in front of Slater. So he could win 2 positions in the last 2 laps, I think. At first he was able to overtake Jeffrey, and now he was able to get in front of Kendall. But I think more than 7.5 seconds up to Dorian is a little bit too much for less. Let's wait some seconds and I can say for less than 6 minutes to go till now. No, now. That was a little bit too fast. And Archibald fighting against Jordan on P18. Victor was only able to get back on P22 and now 13 seconds behind Robert Smith. And this is not real. He didn't do this. Sorry, but we have a little chaotic race yesterday because of one driver. And today we have, let's say, the interesting way to drive by the Swedish McLaren driver. And he is gone. He left the race after he kicked out the 2 fellow countrymen, Oscar and Victor. And I think he pushed Paul also. And now he left the race. Sorry, but this is something I really don't like. Let's say it like this, to be not too hard. By the way, meanwhile, it's more than 2 seconds between the 2 teammates, between Martin and Jared. So I think Jared will win the 2nd race in a row. Which brings him a comfortable lead, especially when we are talking about that there are only 5 races left. So if he's able to win the next 2 races, and everything goes like it goes the first 2 races, which means that we have only only Jared and Martin fighting for the lead. He's already champion. Not really, but nearly. Oh, and Mohamed Hamza with the 2nd penalty. So That's not really good for him. Oh, and now we have the pit stop by our leading car. So Martin with the lead. And Toby jumps up to P2. And now we can see it was, I think, let's see how many seconds. It was 23 seconds. And Jared comes out right behind Toby. And this means it might be enough space between Toby and Adrien for Toby to stay on P3 if nothing happens during the last 2 minutes. By the way, Martin, Toby and Paul, you have to go in the pits this lap. And also Mohamed needs to get in the pits for his drive-through penalty after this lap. Only as an information. And here we have Archibald and Klaassen fighting against Jordan or each other. Oh no, and what is this? Oh no, this was our leader, our current leader. And where is Klaassen? Oh, I think Klaassen lost the car. At least he lost a lot of time and no position. Lucky for him. But meanwhile, after 0.3 of a second, he's, I think, more than 3 seconds of a second. Bullshit. I think it's really more than 3 seconds. It's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, it's 13 seconds. So he lost nearly exactly 13 seconds. So, and now we have the pit stop from Martin. And of course from Toby, I hope. But he needs a little bit longer to get in the pits. Okay, and now we have Jared coming in the last corner. And... oh! Oh! Not really. Oh no! And what is this? Jared with the mistake! Oh no! And this... Sorry for this. I was pretty sure that... Toby... not Toby. That Jared stays on P1, but no. But Toby stays on the 3rd place and Martin, so nothing with 2 wins in a row for Jared. Because of, on the one hand, the fantastic pit stop from Martin and the really bad first corner of the last lap from Jared, who hits one of the Mustang drivers. By the way, Mohamed cleared his drive-through. Yeah, but Toby stays on P3. And it's 50, more than 50.5 seconds between him and Adrien. So I don't know why. So really interesting. And I was worried about the long stint by Toby, but it was the absolute correct decision to stay outside. And like we see, also Jared wasn't able to use the undercut against his teammate. Also, he was in the lead. And this means not second victory for Jared, but the first one for Martin. And this means, I don't know if they are equal because of the fastest lap by Jared. I think there are some points for the fastest lap. By the way, we have Roland Jordan finished P17 in front of Archibald and Klaassen. P20 for Jean Barabas. But here we have P3 and this is... Oh no! What are you doing? Toby, what the fuck are you doing there? My goodness, my heart. Luckily, he has a lot of space between him and Adrien, who has finished his race right now on P4, right in front of Paul. And then we have Dorian on 5th place. And P6 for the German driver in the German car, Fabian, with his best finish, I think, in this league. Followed by Kendall Slater and Jeffrey Van Buren, who wasn't able to get in front of Kendall, and Oscar finished on P9. Congratulations for this impressive ride after the early crash. And then we have Sandham on P10, followed by Winters, Buzidar and Matic on P12, and Zeb Lenormand on P13 in front of the Italian driver Giacomo Besana. And then we have Chris Egert-Rüngjanen on P15, Roland Jordan P16, sorry for this. No, Chris Egert on P16, Roland Jordan on P17, P18 for Steven Archibald. Just wait, I just get in the blah blub. So, where we are, yeah. Besana, Jordan, Archibald, yeah. And then Atti Klaassen on P19 in front of Jolt Barabas. P21 goes to Robert Smith into the United States of America. And then we have Victor Hammerlund. And I think he's a little bit, let's say, angry about oh, and Melle already says sorry. And Chris Egert, oh my god, was that bullshit? I was on the grid. Hit drive at the right time, but he still teleported me into the pits. Oh! And Chris Egert started from the pits. I didn't realize it. We have Mac Mats on P23 in front of Milo Lukasovic. Dan Iris P25, René Lehnen P26, Mohamed Hamza 27, Christian Biarou P28, and then we have Milasten and Patrice Derrick, who didn't finish the race. So, and we are waiting for some interview guests. Oh, and to saying that he's not lucky or angry is not the right words for Victor. I would say he's pissed if I read what he's writing in the chat. Oh, and here is Toby. Hello, Toby, and congratulations to P3.
Thank you very much, sir.
But could you do me a favor the next time?
And have a... and what?
Yeah, please don't end your race in the wall again. I was a little bit... I was near to a heart attack.
Oh, me too, me too. This,
This was nearly too much for me. I was, oh no, what he's doing? Oh my goodness, no, what he's doing? Oh, ah. But luckily, it
yeah,
was much time between, or a big gap between you and the French driver. But
Galley, yeah.
but I don't know why. He was right behind you all the time, and it looks like that he might be a little bit faster than you if you wouldn't be in front of him. But
We
then
we we were on. We didn't switch tires.
he
We were on
switched
full.
tires.
Yeah, yeah, must have.
Ah, okay, this explains a lot. But since when we are switching tires in an hour race? Interesting.
I don't know if it was the right tactic. If I'm
Yeah,
honest,
of course.
it was really. I was really struggling out there. Paul too. I was on the chat with Paul. We both did the same tactic, but it was a lot slower for some reason than we were experiencing normally.
Okay, yeah, maybe, but it was still faster than all the other guys beside you, and to do it the same way like the two in the front, it's might be not the not the worst decision. And
No, yeah,
and I'm pretty sure that Martin and Jared doesn't change tires too.
no, they
So
didn't trade. No, so the top, the top three didn't change tires. Paul didn't change tires. I'm pretty sure Gally changed tires.
okay, this explained a lot.
Yeah, we'll have to talk to him, but yeah, I don't think you pit that early if you're not changing tires. It's always better to
To
go
change
later
it,
because then
okay,
you
yeah.
can, yeah, then you don't put a heat cycle through the tires. It's just better.
Yeah, and I think it was also the problem that he had some fights, and of course, maybe the one or the other back markers.
Well, obviously I didn't see what happened to Gally. I know he's a fast driver, and
Yeah,
when he was behind me, yeah, I couldn't tell if he was full tank or half tank, but I was hoping he was full tank or he would have got me eventually.
yeah,
And yeah, my tires dropped off so quick. I don't know what I was. I don't know really what happened there. The pace was not good, but I guess the result was.
yeah. But it ends better than last week. I think you were really angry last week. I just remember a little bit, but I think you were taken out a few laps before the end of the race.
No, it was a pit stop. So
Ah, yeah,
one
yeah,
of
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah. This was the
one of the
problem.
McLarens went really slow into the pit
Yeah,
stop,
yeah, yeah, and yeah, you have the crash in the
and I
pits.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I remember.
I mean, it's partly my responsibility as well because yeah, in the end I drove into the back of someone, but
Yeah,
you're not
but
expecting people. You're not expecting people to brake there. It's an acceleration zone,
yeah, and
and
it's like the meme. You can park here, sir.
no. So there was a Ford in front as well. So I was focusing on the Ford,
Yeah,
who was focusing on the McLaren. The Ford just skipped it, but there the concertina effect.
yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, it was not too bad a result in the end, if considering what I had.
yeah. Of
30
course.
seconds damage and 30 seconds damage and still finish P6. I mean, that showed the pace I had in the car. Although it would have been a certain P3 if I didn't have the damage.
Yeah,
But then I made up for it this week.
and
It's
next
not my
time.
favorite track, Kota.
Yeah, it's really hard. Yeah, next week in Alton Park, you need to stay nearly on closer to the two in front, because if they do the same, you might be the laughing second one in this case. Because it was really interesting to watch the exit of Furjan's pit stop. Because
Yes.
Jared, Martin, and one of the backmarkers were side by side, and Jared turns around, so he wants to do an extra round.
Yes, Alton Park next week. Very difficult track. Bumpy. Keep it. Yeah. Idea will be to keep it safe and see what I can do. But yeah, of course, the two guys at the front, they're there for a reason, and they finish 1-2 every race for a reason. They're very fast, so I always try to get close to them. But yeah,
Yeah, of course. It would be interesting if you say, no, I want to get far away from them. maybe
yeah,
in
it's
front,
always
maybe
the ambition.
if you are in front of them, then you try to get away from them. But otherwise,
Yeah.
I think you try to stay behind. Yeah, so like nearly every week I say thank you for you or to you to join us here in the interview section. And let's see what happens next week. And yeah, congratulations again for a fantastic race. And of course, congratulations to Martin, to Jared, and all the other guys. Let's say, especially in the top 10. Was a really tough race. I don't know, did you see what happens behind you?
No,
Okay, the
I
first
had a
lap,
very
it was a
lonely race.
it was a very interesting first lap, especially between the three Swedish drivers. So
We'll
really,
see. We'll see it in the stewards' reports, perhaps.
yeah, I'm pretty sure. But there was also, yeah, the McLaren, the Swedish McLaren driver was a little bit, let's say, too aggressive. He also hits Paul.
Paul mentioned something, yes.
And so I think maybe there will be some steward work to do. Let's see. Yeah, but for tonight, call it a day and let's say good night. But before we say good night, we switch back in German and tell the guys, the German audience, and maybe you, what we are doing the next time and the next days. Denn morgen geht's schon weiter. Morgen sehen wir uns dann natürlich wieder in gewohntem Deutsch. Das geht auch irgendwie besser und flüssiger. Bei den Jungs der Funracer, die sind morgen auf der Grand Prix-Strecke unterwegs. Wie gesagt, wie die das parallel zum 24-Stunden-Rennen machen, ich weiß es nicht. Wenn die da durch dieses abgesperrte Fahrerfeld fahren, ich finde es ein bisschen gefährlich, aber gut. Und am Freitag muss ich gucken. Am Freitag habe ich tatsächlich eigentlich den Noobs zugesagt, aber ich weiß nicht, ob ich denen zusagen kann, weil hin und her. Und ich habe am Freitagabend noch eine Veranstaltung, also am frühen Abend. Ich hoffe, dass ich das alles pünktlich schaffe. Wir werden das sehen. Am Wochenende nehme ich mich raus, da gucke ich nämlich die 24 Stunden und dann sehen wir uns natürlich am Montag in Indianapolis und am Dienstag sind wir dann wieder hier bei den Jungs von Apex Online Racing und da geht es dann nach Oulton Park, also nach Großbritannien. Gucken wir mal, Heimspiel für Paul und die ganzen Briten. Mal gucken, ob die das nutzen können. Oder ob es hier wieder einen südafrikanischen bzw. niederländischen Sieg gibt. Wir schauen mal. Und natürlich auch, wie sich der